Listen carefully, because this is something many women misunderstand today. The internet constantly talks about being a high-value woman. You hear it in podcasts, social media posts, and relationship advice everywhere. People describe it as if it requires perfection, as if you must look flawless, speak perfectly, always say the right thing, and somehow become someone completely different from who you are now. But the truth is much simpler than that. A high-value woman is not created by trends, labels, or someone else's definition of worth. A high-value woman is revealed by the way she carries herself in everyday life. And here is the part many women don't realize. Some of you listening already have these qualities naturally. You may not call yourself a high-value woman. You may even doubt yourself sometimes. But your actions quietly show a level of self-respect and emotional maturity that many people never develop. So if you naturally do these 6 things, chances are you are already a high-value woman. You simply may not have realized it yet. Let's begin with the first one. The first sign is simple but powerful. You respect your own boundaries. This is something many people struggle with, especially when emotions are involved. When someone you care about asks for your time, your patience, or your forgiveness, it can feel easier to say yes than to risk losing them. But a high-value woman understands something important. Respect begins with self-respect. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, dismisses your feelings, or treats you in ways that make you uncomfortable, you don't pretend it's acceptable just to keep them around. You speak up, and if the behavior continues, you step away. This doesn't mean you are cold or unforgiving. It means you understand that protecting your dignity matters more than keeping someone who refuses to respect it. Many people stay in unhealthy situations because they fear being alone. They tolerate disrespect, hoping things will eventually improve. But a woman who values herself does not trade her peace for someone else's attention. She knows that love without respect slowly turns into emotional exhaustion. And when a woman is willing to walk away from situations that diminish her, something interesting happens. People begin to take her more seriously, because boundaries show others how you expect to be treated. The second sign is something many people misunderstand. You are comfortable being alone. This does not mean you avoid relationships or reject companionship. It simply means your happiness does not depend entirely on someone else's presence. A high-value woman enjoys connection, but she is not controlled by the fear of loneliness. She can spend time by herself without feeling incomplete. She can pursue her own interests, focus on her own goals, and live her life without constantly needing validation from someone else. This kind of independence often confuses people. Some interpret it as distance. Others mistake it for arrogance. But the reality is much simpler. A woman who is comfortable alone cannot be manipulated by the fear of abandonment. When someone knows you are afraid of losing them, they hold emotional power over you. But when you are capable of walking your own path, relationships become something you choose, not something you cling to. And that difference changes everything, because real attraction grows where there is freedom, not desperation. The third sign is something that becomes clearer with emotional maturity. You protect your peace. As people grow older and gain more life experience, they start realizing that not every argument needs to be fought, and not every opinion deserves a response. A high-value woman does not waste her energy on unnecessary drama. She notices when conversations become toxic, when someone is looking for conflict instead of understanding, or when situations are simply draining her emotional energy. And instead of engaging endlessly, she steps back. This does not mean she avoids difficult conversations when they matter. It means she knows the difference between productive communication and pointless conflict. There is strength in choosing calm over chaos. Many people confuse loud reactions with confidence. They believe standing your ground means arguing until the other person gives up. But peace is not weakness. Peace is discipline. It takes emotional strength to walk away from arguments that lead nowhere. It takes self-awareness to recognize when protecting your mental space matters more than winning a disagreement. And a woman who protects her peace often becomes someone others deeply respect, because calm energy is rare in a world that constantly thrives on conflict. The fourth sign is something that reveals itself quietly. You do not seek constant validation. Many people spend years trying to gain approval from others. They measure their worth through compliments, attention, or how often someone reassures them that they are good enough. But a high-value woman learns something important over time. External validation is temporary. Compliments fade. Opinions change. People's attention shifts. If your sense of worth depends on how others see you, your confidence will always feel unstable. That is why emotionally grounded women develop something much stronger: internal validation. They know who they are. They recognize their strengths and accept their imperfections. They don't constantly adjust themselves just to gain approval from people who may not even value authenticity. Confidence in its purest form is quiet. It does not need constant confirmation. And when a woman carries herself with that quiet confidence, people notice it without her ever needing to demand attention. Because true self-worth does not beg to be recognized. It simply exists. The fifth sign is something that separates emotionally mature women from those who stay stuck in the same patterns. You focus on growth instead of comparison. In today's world, it is easy to fall into the habit of constantly comparing yourself to others. Social media makes it seem like everyone else is living a better life, achieving more, looking better, or finding happiness faster. But a high-value woman understands something important. Your life is not a competition. Instead of constantly measuring herself against other people, she focuses on becoming a better version of herself. She invests time in learning, improving, and developing emotional awareness. When something goes wrong in her life, she does not immediately blame everyone around her. She reflects. She asks herself what she can learn from the situation and how she can grow from it. This kind of mindset creates a powerful shift. Instead of being consumed by jealousy or insecurity, she becomes someone who evolves with time. Growth becomes her priority. Whether that growth is emotional, intellectual, spiritual, or personal, she is always moving forward. And when someone carries that mindset, it becomes noticeable. People are naturally drawn to individuals who are constantly evolving, not those who remain stuck complaining about the same problems year after year. A woman who values growth creates a life that continues expanding. She becomes someone who is interesting, thoughtful, and emotionally strong. And those qualities are far more powerful than surface-level perfection. The sixth sign is one that many people only learn after painful experiences. You are selective about who gets access to your life. When someone is young or inexperienced in relationships, they often believe that kindness means giving everyone the benefit of the doubt. They open their heart quickly, trust easily, and offer their time and energy without much hesitation. But life has a way of teaching difficult lessons. Over time, emotionally intelligent women realize something important. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your life. A high-value woman does not treat her attention, time, and emotional investment as something that must be given freely to anyone who asks for it. Instead, she observes people carefully. She pays attention to how they treat others. She notices how they behave when things don't go their way. She watches how consistent they are over time. Because words are easy, but character reveals itself through actions. This does not mean she becomes cold or distrustful. It simply means she becomes wise about where she places her energy. When someone shows kindness, respect, and consistency, she welcomes them into her life. But when someone repeatedly shows disrespect, dishonesty, or emotional instability, she does not fight endlessly to keep them around. She lets them go. And this is something many people misunderstand. Being selective is not arrogance. It is self-respect. When you value your own life, you understand that your time and emotional energy are limited resources. You cannot give them endlessly to people who drain them without appreciation. Instead, you choose carefully, and that decision often transforms the quality of your relationships. Now, here is the interesting part about all of this. Many women who already live this way do not see themselves as high value. They simply think they are being reasonable. They think they are just protecting their peace, focusing on their life, and trying to grow as a person. But those exact behaviors are what quietly create value. A high-value woman does not wake up every morning thinking about how to prove her worth to the world. She does not spend her time chasing validation, trying to impress people, or forcing others to recognize her importance. Instead, she lives her life in a way that naturally reflects self-respect. She respects her boundaries. She is comfortable in her own company. She protects her peace. She does not depend on constant validation. She focuses on growth, and she chooses carefully who deserves access to her life. These behaviors may seem simple on the surface, but when someone practices them consistently, something powerful happens. They begin attracting people who treat them with the same level of respect they have for themselves. because the energy you carry quietly shapes the kind of relationships you allow into your life. People who thrive on chaos tend to avoid those who protect their peace. People who manipulate emotions often lose interest in those who are comfortable walking away. And individuals who lack self-respect rarely feel comfortable around someone who clearly values themselves. This is why high-value women often seem calm and confident without needing to prove anything. Their value does not come from appearances, popularity, or attention. It comes from the quiet discipline of how they live. And once a woman understands this, something inside her shifts. She stops questioning her worth every time someone fails to recognize it. She stops chasing people who only appreciate her when it is convenient for them. And instead, she begins living a life that reflects who she truly is. Because the truth is this: the most powerful women are not the ones constantly trying to convince the world they are valuable. They are the ones who already know. And once you reach that point, you no longer spend your energy proving your worth. Please make with caption.